Welcome to the Harry Jez Travel Channel. Today I just want to talk about where did I go in France on my recent trip. So I was in France in September, mid-September, to see the Rugby World Cup. If you don't watch my rugby language channel, I have a video on how the Wallabies went in the World Cup. So check that out if you like rugby or languages. So, back to my travels in Europe. So, I flew via London and Singapore to Lyon, which is a very nice French city. It's in southern France, southeastern France, so it's very big rugby country, but also they like soccer and basketball, other sports. I do have a basketball channel, so if you would like basketball, you should head over to the basketball channel as well. And also on my fitness channel, I did a video. If you're into fitness, I did a video on my fitness channel on how to stay fit on holidays. So check that one out. So now back to, so Lyon, you stayed a night. How long did you stay in Lyon? So I did two separate trips to Lyon while I was in France and Europe. So I had one night on the way in and one night on the way out. So that's 2 nights altogether. So where else did you go? Nice. I went to Nice. That's a very nice place. I'd stopped there before to have lunch on a previous trip that I did in 2012 before I started YouTube. Well before I started YouTube, but it was still a very pretty city. It was nice. It was like 25 degrees, so nice warm weather. And then we drove around France. So we went to Aix-en-Provence, stopped for lunch. We drove to Grenoble, had lunch, then drove an hour south of Grenoble to a city called Valence, which is a small city. We stayed a night there in a boutique hotel near the train station, if you don't know Valence is small enough that the train station is pretty much the centre of town. So near the centre of town. So then we visited Saint Etienne, again watched a game of rugby. But I will talk about that. I have talked about that result in my Wallabies World Cup video up on my rugby language channel. So give that a whack that a like if you have seen it or want to see it. Or subscribe to my rugby language channel if you want to hear my thoughts on it. Then we drove to Turin, which is a very nice city in Italy. Very stunning art, very beautiful architecture, but very dirty streets. Then we went to Geneva via Chamonix. So Geneva is a beautiful place. There's the Jet Fountain is the main thing to do in Geneva, and that's in Switzerland, and that part of Switzerland speaks French. I'll do a video on that on my rugby language channel maybe about that. But also what I thought the differences were in the different Frenches. So stay tuned for that one if you subscribe to my rugby language channel. And so also went to Châteauneuf-du-Pape, where they are famous for their red wine, but we thought it was too early my dad and I thought it was too early to have a glass, so we just had a look around and drove on. So Lyon is a beautiful city. Had a look about when we returned. Had a look a bit around a little bit when we returned. We also stayed a night stopped up for lunch in Grenoble, as I said. If you know the places in Grenoble to stop, I'd recommend that you stop in the CBD rather than the outskirts. The outskirts are a bit grungy, like all European cities, or most European cities. Then we travelled through France a little bit, down through and on the way back from Switzerland, we stopped in a place called Annecy, which is the Venice of France, but it really only had 2 canals. So that's a bit of a stretch to call it the Venice of France, but the lake is pretty nice in Annecy. We stopped there, had lunch, did a little bit of a walk around, and then drove back to Lyon. Yeah, so that was in and out of London and Singapore. That was the trip. Hopefully I can give you some more feedback on the trip. I'll see you in the next one. Harry Jez out. Please like and subscribe.